And here, your trusted Fix-It-Show guy, here to give you some essential home maintenance advice. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, cracks in your basement, it's time to call the experts I trust at Accurate Basement Repair. They've fixed many of our listeners' basements, and the results were fantastic. Dry, secure, and peace of mind restored. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. Call them today.
Thanks, David. Accurate Basement Repair. We're not just good, we're accurate.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Protect mom's assets, protect your assets. Call Kraus Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
Good morning, 9 o'clock. We have 42 degrees. It's rainy. We've got fog, drizzle, and rain all in the forecast today. High today, 47. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. One of the busiest travel weekends of the year is expected to see severe weather in the south and out west. Strong storms from Louisiana to Arkansas spawned at least 5 tornadoes in Texas. ABC meteorologist Greg Dutra says the storm's going to continue to roll around parts of the country into next week.
The system splits itself, then it becomes a freezing rain threat right around New Year's for around New York City and areas off to the north, all the way into the Adirondacks, stopping at about the northern tip of Lake George, and then back toward Chicago, all the way to New York. Some rain possible New Year's Eve and into New Year's Day.
If you felt sick during Christmas this year, you weren't alone. Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County, Dr. Ben Weston, tells WTMJ.
We can start with the most fun. We have norovirus. So this is at a super high level. It's stomach flu. It has the nasty GI symptoms. It's extremely contagious, and so if somebody in your house gets it, everybody's pretty much going to get it. And so that is at really high levels. It's going around. And then you have rhinovirus, enterovirus. These are your common cold.
Dr. Weston recommends staying up to date with that flu shot and staying home from work when you're sick. Cases of whooping cough or pertussis in the U.S. at the highest they've been in a decade. Wisconsin among states with the most cases, the third worst outbreak in the country behind Pennsylvania and New York. State health officials say the highly contagious bacterial infection's been spiking since summer. Department of Health Services reports Wisconsin had more than 2,300 cases of whooping cough this year compared to 51 last year. CDC reports nationwide there are more than 32,000 cases as of mid-December. In a flurry of social media posts this week, President-elect Donald Trump threatens a takeover of several sovereign territories, including Panama, once he takes office. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has more.
In the last few days, the president-elect has been railing against the canal, suggesting that the U.S. seized control, arguing that Panama is ripping off American businesses. Trump also suggesting again that Canada become the 51st state and that the U.S. should annex the Danish territory of Greenland. Greenland's prime minister writing in a statement, "Greenland is ours. We are not for sale and will never be for sale."
Nearly 200 absentee ballots in Madison not counted.
The City of Madison Clerk's office discovered the ballots during post-election cleanup and reconciliation. It says all affected voters will receive an apology letter. The affected wards are 56, 65, and 68. The mayor's office says it was not notified of the unprocessed ballots until December 20th. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway saying in a statement, quote, "While the discovery of these unprocessed absentee ballots did not impact the results of any election or referendum, a discrepancy of this magnitude is unacceptable," unquote. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The clerk's office says moving forward, every polling location will receive a list of absentee envelope seal numbers that'll be verified as counted on Election Day. As of January 1st, the town of Oconomowoc is no more.
The town will be absorbed and become part of the village of Lac La Belle. Village President Timothy Clark says the consolidation keeps zoning laws local.
Our zoning and things like that are very important to us, and it actually benefits the town that they now have borders that are protected.
Another advantage to the village is more resources like police and
in 2024, we started to use their public works department and their administrative services.
Village leaders plan to step down as Oconomowoc town leaders take over the new Lac La Belle community starting 2025. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
New numbers show consumer spending surge this holiday season. According to MasterCard Spending Pulse, retail holiday sales jumped 3.8% from 2023. That blew past expectations of 3.2%. With no grand prize winner in the Christmas Eve drawing, the Mega Millions jackpot has grown to $1.5 billion. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimebert.
Mega Millions calling 2024 the most unusual jackpot year in history, with only 3 grand prizes won, but all of them in top 10 territory. That includes the $1.3 billion winner from New Jersey who finally claimed their prize this week after 9 months of mystery. The odds are steep to win the jumbo jackpot, about 1 in 302 million.
Come April, it's going to cost you more to play. Mega Millions tickets going up to $5 a piece, which lottery officials say will lead to even bigger jackpots and better odds of winning. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 198, NASDAQ off quite a bit, 338 points. S&P 500 is down 59. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:05.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
In Heartland, you're going to find a focus on distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original artwork, along with tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. In Pewaukee, the focus is on kitchen, outdoor, and garden decor, and all of it is priced at 25 to 40% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value.
Design Exchange.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal, to do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Nets pumped the brakes on a 2-game losing streak after edging the Bucks 111-105 from Fiserv Forum. Chris Middleton led Milwaukee with 21 points. Brooke Lopez netted 20, holding 7 boards as the Bucks dropped back-to-back games and fell to 16-13. Team visits the Bulls tomorrow night. Packers face the Vikings in Minneapolis Sunday afternoon. Green Bay already clinched a playoff berth and sits third in the NFC North at 11-4. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. There is a new crash on the exit to Highway 73 from I-94 West. Couple of disabled vehicles. It looks like they are both off-ride. One's at I-41 North at the ramp from Elm Road. Another I-94 West, almost a mile beyond the ramp from Moreland Road.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Volkswagen. Visit hallvw.com.
Help fellow commuters. Report accidents and slowdowns to the Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line.
414-238-9329.
Visit Hall Volkswagen during Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fog and drizzle this morning, changing to rain this afternoon. A high today 47. Rain likely overnight with a low 44. Mild tomorrow. Slight chance of rain early, then mostly cloudy with a high 50 on Saturday. Slight chance of rain to the south on Sunday. High of 44. Cloudy on Monday 43. And then a wintry mix possible on Tuesday. Mostly cloudy with a high 39. 42 in Madison, 41 in Green Bay, 44 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. In for Steve Scafidi, here's Tracy Johnson.
Should we talk about the government?
Good morning, Wisconsin. Great to be with you on this Friday. I am joined by Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist. Boy, we've got, 3 hours of content to cover here?
I think we do. We just covered it in the prep session.
Oh, my gosh. So, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Happy 2 days after if you're still returning gifts and buying the after Christmas sales.
Oh, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
So, and when do we transition to saying Happy New Year, which is another...
Probably not till Tuesday. I like the Christmas season to last as long as possible.
But then my rule is I can say Happy New Year to you until I've seen you twice, and you can just say it like throughout the year as
all
a
through
greeting.
January if you haven't run into somebody.
I love it. I love it. All right, it's the holiday season. All right, but we got a lot to get to today. So first, I want to talk about this more timely topic. Speaker Mike Johnson is up for renomination next Friday. Next Friday. I know you're not a huge fan of Mike Johnson, but kind of tell me how you think this is going to play out. And if it's not Mike Johnson, who is it?
So this has to get figured out before next Friday. What cannot happen is another 15-round dragout like they did with Kevin McCarthy 2 years ago. It's not good for the party. It's not good for the brand. And it's certainly not good for the incoming administration. So I don't know how long Mike Johnson's going to need to spend at Mar-a-Lago over the next 6 days, but there should be some considerable time down there with President-elect Trump and his team to get this right. And here's, you and I talked about this a little bit, Tracy. Here's my view on 2025. Democrats are very, very good at party discipline, particularly when Nancy Pelosi was the speaker. When she said this is how we're going to vote, that's how they voted. There were no questions. There were no stragglers. It's not how the Republicans roll. And parts of that I like, parts of that I don't like. When you have a very slim majority, you have to have some party discipline. Where I'm disappointed in Mike Johnson is he hasn't found a way to connect with what used to be called the Freedom Caucus. And there's between 30 and 40 of those more conservative members of Congress. And whether that's Johnson himself or his whips, they have to do a better job of coming to agreement with those people ahead of time. And let me tell you why. There should be 3 team votes in 2025. Hopefully more, but at least 3. The first is next Friday for Speaker. If it's going to be Mike Johnson, then it should be 100% unanimous with Republican voters. And guys like Thomas Massey are going to have to change their position. He has said multiple times publicly he will not vote for Johnson. I think that's a mistake to rule people out this early. But the other 2 votes are on reconciliation. The first of those will probably come in late January, early February. It'll be on the immigration package and on the energy package. And then later in the year, they'll do the tax reform and the government reform. Those are team votes. There should be no stragglers from the Republican Party on that because those are the things that Donald Trump ran on. Those are the things he won the popular vote on. Those are the things he won all 7 swing states on. Those are the things that Republicans should be united about. And if the 40 members of the Freedom Caucus can't see the bigger picture on those things, then we're not doing this right. And so I think they have to come to an agreement before next Friday. Maybe that means one of them becomes a whip, whether it's Massey or Chip Roy or somebody else. Sometimes you have to put your enemies closer to keep better tabs on them. And so if Johnson ends up winning, I hope that the president's team is involved in this and they do have some agreements on how this is going to play out because a long drawn-out 2025 where Republicans can't even pass a bill to give voters free prime rib, that's not a good thing for the party.
Well, we have been hearing that we need Donald Trump to say, okay, Mike Johnson, let's all line up and do Mike Johnson. Do you think that, during kind of this kerfuffle about the CR, that they had some sort of agreement that they were going to kind of cause a little controversy and then in the end they were going to come together because the longer term was that they wanted some big things to happen?
One of the theories out there is that the first CR, which included 1,500 pages of all pork, that Johnson agreed to publicly, and Democrats are holding him to this day. They're saying he reneged on a deal. There is a school of thought that Trump's team did know about that, and they used that vehicle to smoke out Democrats on what were the priorities. and because they knew they would cut it back, and they wanted some wins before they actually were inaugurated on January 20th. I get that. I'm not 100% sure I agree with that theory, but it is out there. And so Republican, we are the party of limited government. That should be a uniting principle for all 217 members, 216 if you now subtract the woman from Texas who's in a memory care facility. I mean, right. So she won't be able to vote next Friday. So we have a 1-vote majority.
Well, and that's something that I didn't really think about, that if somebody has the flu or they're going to their kid's wedding,
you can't pass a bill.
You can't pass a bill. So if it's not Mike Johnson, who are the other names that are even being talked about?
The only logical ones would be to go backwards to Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise. Those are the folks that have the most support in the caucus or conference, they call it. I could have supported either one of those guys, but neither could get to 217. So you're going to have to be in a room. This takes work. And this is probably my biggest frustration with Republicans is sometimes they're not willing to put in the work. Mike Johnson, the Trump team are going to have to be in a room with Chip Roy, with Thomas Massey, with Nancy Mace, who's sometimes on the team, lots of times off the team, and come to an agreement. And that's got to happen in the next 6 days.
So you mentioned Nancy Mace. So she's part of that kind of Freedom Caucus.
She voted no on both CRs.
So Matt Gaetz, who was the nominee for Attorney General, obviously kind of off the table now. He was really the leader there. And now that he's not there anymore, who is that leader that we should be watching for that's going to be the kind of thorn in everyone's side?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Nancy Mace was one of the 8 that took McCarthy out 2 years ago, or 8 months ago, and so she's been in the Gaetz camp in the past. I'm not a huge fan of hers either. I think she's a little more showboaty and a lot less workhorsey. And I like people that get results. And I don't care if you're on Fox News. I don't care if you're putting out tweets or TikToks on a regular basis. I want to know that you're getting stuff done that we ran on, right? If this party wants to be the majority party in 2 years, they have to deliver on the agenda that just got them the majority in the Senate and in the House and got them the White House. So it's pretty simple to me. I mean, let's find that uniting agenda and let's get it done.
Well, and if you can't win, you can't win. Bill McCoshen, I'm Tracy Johnson. We'll be back with a lot more after the break. It's 9:16 on WTMJ.
This is Libby Collins. On WTMJ Conversations this Sunday, we talk with nurse Christine Hoyland about her experiences helping people in need throughout the world.
The reality of being in a war-torn country was always there. The air raid sirens would go off daily, sometimes in the middle of the night. If I ever had a moment of feeling at peace, that was an abrupt reminder that there was a war going on.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. God's promise is fulfilled. Archbishop Listecki here. God has seen fit to bless us with the gift of his Son. Emmanuel, God is with us. This is an incredible gift of God's love for us. But like all gifts, it needs to be opened and shared. Through his Son, we are joined together as one family in the common bond of God's love. Blessings to all for a Merry Christmas. Join us at Mass.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
I thought you were on vacation.
I am.
At Penny Mustard?
Specifically, the Miles sofa at Penny Mustard.
It is super comfy.
That's an understatement.
Built just the way you want it.
Sounds nice.
So you're really vacationing on the Miles sofa?
I'll send you a postcard. Wish you were here. P.S. Miles says hi.
The Miles Sectional, starting at just $238 a month, with only 1 penny down and no interest till January of 2028 through January 12th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
The heat is on. The heat is on. The heat is on.
Welcome back on WTMJ in studio with Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, who is here every Friday.
Jocelyn's got it cooking in there. The heat is on.
I know. I like it. She pays attention. All right. So we're quasi in the media, right? I mean, this is media.
You more than me, probably, but yeah.
Well, there was a recent survey study that showed that people are done with media when it comes to politics. They're burned out. 7 in 10 Democrats, 6 in 10 Republicans and independents. You know, they're just tuning out. And what do you think's behind that?
Part of it's campaigns are too long. I mean, the presidential campaign is 18 months long from the start of the primary process, maybe even a little bit longer from when the first candidate got in the race, which was Trump. Actually, he got in November of 2022, right after the November election. So in his case, it was, 24 straight months. And I don't think the average citizen can handle that much politics. I think it was one of the flaws of the Trump 45 term was they thought that he had to be in the media and sort of fill that air every day, and you don't. His numbers are actually better today that he's not in it as much, and he's not making news literally every single day, and he stays on a news cycle longer, whether it's, making Canada the 51st state or taking over the Panama Canal. He hasn't been sort of mixing up the different messages. He's been sticking consistent, and I think that's going to help him as well.
And he's surrounded himself with really good people who help him be disciplined, right?
For sure. Susie Wiles is outstanding. Caroline Leavitt, she's a 27-year-old young lady who's about to be the youngest press secretary in U.S. history, and good for her. And man, is she disciplined. She's good. And I think all of them understand that this is a one-term deal, and he made some very significant promises, and he intends to deliver on those, and that they all have a role in that. I can tell you, Tracy, you know this, my youngest son is on the transition team, and the people they are interviewing, it's all about delivering on the agenda. It's not necessarily about the resume that person is bringing to the interview, although that is considered. They want to know that they're committed to getting these results, and that's a different mindset.
Well, when it comes to the press briefing room and when we talk about how we get our media, a few days ago, there was a release about how Donald Trump's press briefing room is going to be set up. This is the room that you always saw Karine Jean-Pierre.
Right.
She stands at the podium. So it's going to be Caroline Leavitt now in the future. And there are actually 49 chairs that are assigned to the press. And they just suggested that this is not going to be filled with the usual reporters like the BBC and NBC, but rather podcasters and influencers and things like that. How likely is that? And how will that change how we actually hear the news and consume this media?
So people are consuming things differently. Just yesterday or 2 days ago on Christmas Day, you had to have a Netflix subscription to watch the NFL. And there were 24 million people that watched the 2 NFL games. Compare that to the NBA that was on network television where fewer than 5 million people watched. So people are consuming their information far differently today. I think Trump's actually right about this, that of those 49 seats, probably a third of them will go to what's considered new media. And 4 years from now, when we're in the next presidential cycle, they won't be new media. They'll be the main media. People are consuming, whether it's podcasts or on the internet, streaming, things like that. People are not getting their news from ABC, NBC, CBS like they used to. And part of that's their own fault. They went with theories and narratives that proved to be false. And we're going to find out more about that, I believe, when Kash Patel gets to the FBI. But if you want to be a credible news source, then you have to play it straight. You can't be an advocate one way or the other. And I think the mainstream media still has some learning to do on that, and we'll see how it shakes out. But there's no question that press room will look different, and how people consume their media is a lot different. Trump himself on TikTok, remember, Republicans want to ban TikTok, not Trump. And he said, listen, I won the youth vote, which is highly unusual for a Republican candidate. And a lot of young people get their news from that, which I have a TikTok account. I've never used it. I don't totally know how to use it, but
Same here.
Young people, that's where they live.
Well, and that's in however you get your media, that is the media. Didn't Elon Musk say, you are the media now?
Right.
And it's
and
true,
he's right
whether we
about
like
that.
it or not, whether we like it or not. So speaking of consuming media, where do you go to get your media?
So I get the Wisconsin State Journal, the hard copy. I still like the feel of that on my driveway every single morning. I used to get the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I live in Madison, for the listeners who don't know that. And now that the Journal-Sentinel I canceled because it's day-old media. My Madison paper is yesterday's news, not today's news. It used to be today's news. So they lost me as a subscriber, but I'm still an online subscriber for their news. There are a lot of reporters on that site that I follow. And then I use X. I watch Fox News quite a bit. On Sunday mornings, it drives my wife crazy, but I watch the newsmaker shows on CBS, on NBC. Meet the Press. As soon as Carol sees Kristen Welker, she walks out of the room. She can't stand it. I think you have to see what the other side is saying to sort of appreciate it and to counter it when necessary. So I use a variety of different news sources, so I might be a little unusual. I'm not quite to the podcast thing yet, but my sons and daughter are definitely there.
Well, you are going to get there, Bill. All right, more when we return on WTMJ. It's 9:24.
He's going to fire up a three for the win, and he hit it! Game time has arrived! He has done it again! Cash Money Middleton to the rescue! Lobs to Giannis, who flushes it in. Lillard, three-pointer for the lead! It's game time! Giannis takes it down the lane. He'll lay it in with another foul. Oh, baby! The Greek freak is unleashed.
The sound of the Bucks is here on the home of the Bucks, 620 WTMJ.
Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you might still owe taxes on that money. I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates, and I believe it's your money and you deserve to know what's at stake. At Drake & Associates, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you earned. That's why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. We'd like to offer you our free Retirement Ready Toolkit. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So text TAX to 414-409-9982 today to get your complimentary toolkit. That's TAX to 414-409-9982. You work hard for your money, and we'll work hard for you.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yep, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Rich Lawns. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear, Kelly, Continental, and General, to name a few.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free tire mounting, free lifetime tire rotation, free flat tire repairs, and free alignment inspections.
Not to mention free wheel corrosion cleaning, lifetime warranty spin balance, and prorated tire protection.
Let's just say, if you're driving around town, especially this time of year on old, worn-out tires, you're due for tire service.
Courtney's right. And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires, because cold, wet, icy roads are no joke. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns, and you're due for service.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
Welcome back on WTMJ. Bill McCoshen in studio, Republican strategist. Bill, just this week, over Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, we lost two giants in Wisconsin politics.
No doubt.
Tim Cullen, George Petak. You worked in both of their spaces.
Knew them both well, considered them both friends. They're both from different parties. For the listeners who don't know Tim Cullen's history, he was the Senate Majority Leader in the 80s when Tommy Thompson won for governor in 1986. He did the unusual move of selecting Tim Cullen to be his Secretary of Health, which was unheard of at the time. You just didn't reach across the aisle and pick somebody out. And they weren't actually the best of friends when Tommy was in the legislature and Tim was in the Senate. But they saw it as a strategic move to send a message that we're going to get things done and we're going to use skilled people regardless of which party they came from. Tim Cullen ended up he got welfare reform started. It wasn't enacted while he was still there. And then he left to be a senior vice president at Blue Cross Blue Shield for probably 2 decades. And then he went back to Janesville to run again in 2010, and he won. And he was deeply involved in Act 10. So if you do a little bit of a Google search on Act 10, there were 2 Democratic senators who were negotiating with Eric Shute, who was Governor Walker's chief of staff. Tim Cullen was one. Bob Jauch from my home area of Superior was the other, trying to find a compromise. Ultimately, they didn't. Democrats who had left the state came back. They got outvoted, and Act 10 is now a reality, being challenged in the courts, as we all know. But Cullen was a big part of that. He wanted to see things get done and get done the right way. And he was a good man. He was from a different party, but I considered him a friend, and I think he was a major contributor to the success of the state. The other guy, George Petak, Republican from Racine, literally lost his job by casting the deciding vote to build Miller Park. Without George Petak, there is no Major League Baseball in Wisconsin. That's a fact. He changed his vote at 5 a.m. There had been 2 negative votes prior to that, and George said, you know what, I'll be the one. I'm going to do it. I think it's the right thing to do. The sticking point for the listeners who don't remember this is there was a sales tax on all the counties in southeast Wisconsin at that time, including Racine. And that was going to be a challenging point for him back home. He ended up getting recalled for that.
And a legacy, especially in the a week ago, we just extended the lease for American Family Field.
Till 2050.
His legacy lives on. Bill McCoshen, when we come back, winners and losers and who to watch in 2025. But right now, ABC News and Headlines is next.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. A U.S. official tells ABC that a Russian anti-aircraft system may be responsible for the Azerbaijan plane crash Wednesday in Kazakhstan. ABC's Inez de la Cotera spoke with a crew member who was one of the 29 survivors.
He says they heard 3 thuds while they were flying over Grozny. He says that people on board actually were not panicking, but he does tell us that they're not being allowed to speak. So it was actually a very short conversation. He kept telling us that he had to get off the phone because there are people in the hospital right now telling him to get off the phone.
Russia says there were Ukrainian drone operations in the area. For the second time in about a month, a stowaway made it onto a Delta Airlines plane. The unticketed passenger discovered as the plane taxied in Seattle. It returned to the gate. The man was arrested. New York prosecutors announced the indictment of the man accused of burning a woman to death inside of a subway train. The suspect, Sebastian Zepeda, remains in custody. Immigration officials say he's in the U.S. illegally. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:31. I'm Connie Weber. A former Milwaukee teacher's aide accused of multiple sex crimes involving a former student. Prosecutors say 41-year-old Jason Holder, who worked at Carmen High School, sent lewd text messages to a then 15-year-old. Prosecutors say the exchanges happened between the months of July and August of this year. Court records show Holder was not employed at the school when the alleged acts were committed. Victims of a deadly crash in the village of Kohler Saturday identified Stephen and Linda Larson of Sheboygan and Curtis Brittian of Sheboygan Falls. All died in the crash on Lower Falls Road near I-43. Kohler police say speed does appear to be a factor in that crash. Man killed by an MCTS bus Christmas Day has been identified as 79-year-old Robert Clemens. He and a 37-year-old man were trying to fix a car on the side of the road, 47th and Villard, when they were hit by the bus. The other man was hurt. The 51-year-old bus driver was arrested. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The markets are down sharply. The Dow is off 408 points, 42,917. NASDAQ off 436 points at 19,584. S&P 500 is down 85 at 5,952. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. It continues to be pretty quiet out there. Probably a lot of people off work today. There is a disabled vehicle, I-94 West, about 6 miles beyond the ramp from Highway 26. That vehicle is off on the right shoulder. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Drizzle, rain becoming likely today with a high of 47. Rain overnight with a low 44. Just a slight chance of rain early tomorrow. It's going to be mild with a high Saturday of 50. Slight chance of rain south on Sunday with a high 44. Cloudy and 43 on Monday. And then a wintry mix possible on Tuesday. Mostly cloudy with a high 39. 42 in Madison, 41 in Green Bay, and 46 now in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 9:33.
The holiday season may be coming to a close, but there's still plenty of time to make it a magical one. Ring in the new year with something stunning and timeless from Diamonds Direct. Start the new year with a celebration of your love, or even a celebration of yourself. Whether you're shopping for the perfect wedding bands, a beautiful pair of diamond studs that were missing from under your tree, or the engagement ring of their dreams, Diamonds Direct has just what you're wishing for. This year, make your New Year's resolution to shop smarter by shopping direct. Making a decision on where to make your next jewelry purchase has never been easier. At Diamonds Direct, you're guaranteed to get an extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and the white glove service that we've long been known for. Let the experts at Diamonds Direct show you the difference in a concierge luxury shopping experience. Kick off the new year the way you've always wanted. Customize your experience in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com today. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Trained Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
Welcome back on WTMJ to the Political Power Hour.
Are you sensing a theme here? Heat?
Oh, yeah, okay, I like it. Is it because it's 47 degrees out today, or is it because it's not really heated
I
in
like
here?
47 and a little bit of sun.
Yeah.
Not this hazy stuff.
This is a little dicey, but I'll take it. Actually, it's 42 right now. I'm looking at the thing. So the second half hour, we're going to spend some time talking about the winners and losers and who to watch on the political landscape. So let's start with your first winner. And I might weigh in a little bit here, too, because I got a couple.
Yeah, my first winner, obviously, is Donald Trump. I mean, he had the political comeback for the ages. He's the second man ever, and first in 132 years to have a term between terms. Grover Cleveland being the last 132 years ago. So not only did he sweep the 7 swing states, he won the popular vote by more than 2 million. He got 77 plus million votes. All of that was unheard of with what he was facing just a year ago. And he dispatched everyone in the primary easily. It wasn't really competitive. It was more competitive for second or third. So, 23 days from now, he's going to become the 47th president of the United States. So I don't think there's any question he is. There's a reason he's the man time of the year, and I have him as a winner, and he's the second man ever to win Wisconsin twice, joining Ronald Reagan.
And that's an interesting fact. Do you think that his legacy do you think his legacy in this second term will be solidified as a good leader who gets things done? I mean, time is usually kind to people, and his first term was very tumultuous. But
yeah,
do you think
I think the gap helped. I think they learned a lot, and there's some perspective here, and they understand what results mean. And to our first topic of the day, the one thing they have to do better than they did in the first term is congressional relations. I don't think they did that well in 45. Hopefully they'll be engaged in this term, and that's where you get the results, is through the Congress. Executive orders are only as good or as long as the person in power. So those those don't stand the test of time. If he wants to make these changes sustainable and permanent, they have to go through Congress.
Yeah, and you learn from the mistakes and you learn from the time. So my first winner is Ron DeSantis. And I believe that he is a winner in all of this because of how he handled his run for the presidency. He got out at the right time.
I agree.
He realized there was a lot more work to do in Florida. And I think he maintained his reputation and solidified his opportunity for the future. And I think most people think that he is a great governor. People love Florida and how Florida works. So how can you continue to do that, show results, and potentially have a bigger platform in the future?
Well, and he moved Florida from a swing state to a deep red state. Trump won it by 13 points. So that's because of the DeSantis machine down there. So I agree. He came out of 2024 pretty strong.
So how about your first loser?
My first loser would be Barack Obama. This is a guy who got involved in the 2016 race, told his vice president, Joe Biden, to step aside so that Hillary Clinton could win. When she was on the ropes by Bernie Sanders, the party infrastructure got involved to make sure that Bernie Sanders could not win that primary. And then Barack Obama, I would argue from behind the scenes, he and his team have been puppeteering this thing all the way through, including getting Joe Biden out of the way this time. And there is no question that they had significant losses, and I put that all at Barack Obama's doorstep. So he's my top loser.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what his favorability is into the future, because I think a lot of people who did really like him saw what he did and understand what he did. It's been pretty publicized.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, changed people's perception.
Well, Democrats want a voice, right? They don't want to be told by the party bosses who's going to be the nominee. 14 million people voted for Biden. Nobody voted for Harris, and yet here she is as the nominee.
So who's your second winner?
My second winner is Robin Vos. This guy stared down 2 recalls. He faced new maps that were heavily gerrymandered to favor Democrats, and yet he came back with a 54-seat majority. I would argue Robin Vos overperformed in the election, including my best data point would be Todd Novak in the 51st down by the Madison area. This is a plus 10 Democratic district, and yet Novak won. So Robin Vos recruits the right candidates. He makes sure they do the work that's necessary, and then he gives them the right agenda to run on. So my second winner is Robin Vos.
So do you think that with a more narrow majority, he's going to be able to get things done? Do you think there's going to be more compromise, or do you think he's going to be more resolute in accomplishing the goals?
He'd be a great playbook for the Johnson team, Mike Johnson, to look at. There are 5 or 6 Republicans who wouldn't be considered in his caucus that are not considered strong Robin Vos fans. He gave them all plum appointments on different committees, and he made them part of the team. That's how you lead when you have tight majorities, and Robin Vos is proving he knows how to do it.
He's been there a long time. I know there's
Longest
always
speaker in Wisconsin history.
Second loser.
My second loser would be Joe Biden himself. This is a guy who shouldn't have run. I think his hubris got in the way, decided to stay in, had a miserable debate, the worst we've ever seen in history, and then still tried to fight to stay in for 3 more weeks after that. And then once he realized that he was going to get the shiv from his own party, he instantly endorses Harris so that there can't be a mini primary. So he throws sand in the gears of this thing. I think he's going out in the most disgusting manner possible by pardoning 37 rapists and killers, pardoning his son. I'm sure he's going to pardon his brother. I think he'll go down as one of the worst presidents in history. He is my second loser.
Well, and it's so interesting because when he was elected, I mean, people thought he was such a nice person. And he's probably a very nice person and a kind person. He's just surrounded by a lot of people who are probably just manipulating him, or at least that's what may come out in the years ahead.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, Robert Hur, when he did his investigation on him, said he wasn't fit to stand trial, that no jury would convict this feeble old man, yet here he is issuing pardons on his way out the door. I don't think you can square that circle.
All right, real quick, who's your third winner?
My third winner is J.D. Vance. I was not for him to be the vice presidential nominee. I thought there were better, stronger candidates. I was totally wrong about that. Man, did he add to the ticket, which is unusual. He wiped the floor with Tim Walz in the VP debate, and he was on every Sunday show every single week. He actually could speak MAGA in many cases better than Trump could.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch him, and I know this is another segment, but it'll be interesting to watch what assignments he's given in this Trump term to possibly set him up for 2028. Third loser?
My third loser is Door County. Door County had been 6 in a row of picking the winner of the presidential race. They did not pick the winner this time. They picked Kamala Harris by 500 votes. It was roughly 10,500 to 10,000 in Door County. So our new bellwether in Wisconsin is Sauk County. Door County's my loser.
Sauk County. Okay. All right. When we come back, we will talk about who to watch and what to watch in 2025. Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist on WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's the best in the business. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. They know at Guthrie and Fry that better water makes a big difference. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
For WTMJ contest rules, visit WTMJ.com/contests.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Elmbrook Family Dental, a great dental team from right here in Wisconsin. Dr. Eric is great. He's born and raised in Elm Grove, and he's the expert when it comes to cosmetic work with Invisalign. Dr. Eric's used Invisalign himself. He knows that would help him treat patients. He can help walk you through the process. The website is elmbrookfamilydental.com. 3 locations, 2 in Brookfield and a brand new spot in Wauwatosa. That's elmbrookfamilydental.com.
Are the changing seasons making you crave a getaway? Let Fox World Travel help you plan for the perfect all-inclusive resort or cruise vacation to escape the cold. We've got special deals with Apple Vacations, Delta Vacations, Royal Caribbean, Princess Cruises, Celebrity Cruises, and more. Whether you prefer to book online or with a travel advisor, Fox World Travel has your back. Visit foxworldtravel.com to book online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO today. That's 866-GO-FOX-GO today.
I said it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes.
All right, we gotta let that one play, right? So you know where it's getting hot is on the text line. There are people fired up.
That's good. They're paying attention.
Yes, a lot of people disagree with you, Bill.
I love that.
A couple people agree.
As long as it's one person called me Baghdad Bill a few weeks ago, so I did take that one a little bit personally. Other than that, I'm okay.
That's how you know you're doing your job,
Yeah.
right? Is people getting fired up. All right, we talked about the winners and losers. So who are you going to watch in 2025? First person.
I'm going to start with Bobby Kennedy. He, like Tim Cullen, he grew up in the Democratic side of the politics. I mean, an iconic Democratic family, and I think he was instrumental in Trump winning. Kamala Harris had unbelievable momentum from the day she was essentially the nominee, which was July 21st, all the way until the end of the Democratic convention. And then Trump stopped that momentum by having the announcement with Bobby Kennedy in Arizona that Bobby was going to endorse him. I think what people are excited about with Kennedy is the MAHA movement. As a calorically challenged individual, I would like to see a cleaner food stream. I think it'd be good for myself. I think it'd be good for my kids and my granddaughter. And I think it'd be good for society to have cleaner foods and have some sense of why we do things differently than European countries, for example. That you could eat roughly the same diet in Europe and lose weight because it doesn't have all the junk in it that we have in our food system. So I'm super excited about what Bobby Kennedy can do there. Hopefully the Congress will work with him on that, but he'd be my top person to look out for.
Well, and it's funny talking with friends. I feel like talking about Bobby Kennedy is almost a safe political topic because people are actually excited to learn more about changing their food and learning more about the drugs that were being sold every day. So
right.
It's a good
having the truth, a little bit of transparency is a good thing.
Yeah. All right.
How about you? Who are you watching?
I am watching. Well, you mentioned Robin Voss. I'm actually watching Robin Voss. He's
a good one.
He's a winner, but I'm also watching him because, like we touched on, he's been in the legislature for such a long time and being at this position. He won once again, despite all of the arrows that were thrown at him. But when it comes to the agenda, he's laid that stake in the ground about funding for UW, about really looking closely at what they're doing with the state assets,
right,
and some of the reforms. I actually think he's going to be very successful in getting the legislature surrounded and aligned. So
yeah, I do too.
I'm watching him. All right, who's your second one?
My second one is Kash Patel, who is likely to be the FBI administrator or director. If he can bring the transparency to the agency that Americans so desperately desire, I think he will end up being a historic figure. Yeah, there are reforms that are needed. I don't think all of us know what those are. Certainly at the top level, we need to depoliticize the agency and stop the lawfare. But I think we're going to find out some things, Tracy, that are going to blow our minds. And the question is, are we ready for it? You can't handle the truth was a famous line from a movie. We're about to find out if we can handle the truth. So Kash Patel is the second person that I'm watching in 2025.
The second entity, it's not a person, it's an entity I'm watching is MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools. We just, and this is, I don't think it's been widely reported. So they're looking for a new superintendent. They have an interim superintendent. They opened the application process. They received something like 35 applicants, including the guy who's in the place now. And they decided they're going to go back out to the market because they didn't have any candidates that fit the mold. So this is a very troubled school district, but it's the one that we need to have working for our state.
It's got the most students of any district in the state. It cannot fail, and yet we've allowed it to fail for 2 decades now. So we have to get this right. Both the superintendent and the school board have to be focused on student outcomes, and if they are, a lot of good things can happen.
And it looks like a lot of those school board members aren't running for re-election. So
it's probably a good thing.
Well, and we're going to need somebody to come in and really take over. It's a vacuum right now.
Right.
So
no doubt.
One to watch. All right. Who's their third one to watch?
My third one to watch is Brad Schimmel here in the state of Wisconsin. He is the conservative candidate for state Supreme Court. The balance of the court is on the line on April 1st. Brad Schimmel is a 2-time statewide candidate, once successfully as Attorney General, and then he lost by 26,000 votes in his reelection, mostly because of a third-party candidate took those votes away from him. I think he's a strong candidate. The question is he willing to walk up to the line and tell voters where he stands on some issues? That had always been taboo in previous elections. Janet Protasevich basically blew the doors off that and said you can actually get to the line and look over the line and still be okay as it relates to legal ethics. So I'm hopeful that Brad will be super transparent about how he feels about the issues that really matter to people. And if he is, I think he wins.
And I think he will. I had him on, I was filling in a couple months ago, and I had him on right when he announced. He went after it. I mean, he talked about abortion and everything.
Yeah.
So the third one that I'm watching is Fetterman. I'm watching Fetterman. That guy, he's such a goofy guy, but he's actually making some good points. And
he's making some great points.
I think he's going to bring some Democrats to the Republican side so everybody can get their goals done.
So Trump won states that have 50. There are 4 extra Democratic senators in states that Donald Trump won, including Arizona and Nevada. Those 4 people have to sort of watch where the wind goes. And Fetterman's one of them, too. Trump won Pennsylvania. I like Fetterman. I think he's come a long way. Democrats don't accept diversity of opinion, and so he may get driven out of their party, which we'd take him for sure.
A Joe Manchin of the new era.
Yeah. I just don't want him to go independent. I hope if he decides to walk away from the Democratic Party, he comes all the way over to the Republican side and helps us get more things done. But I expect him to vote for Kennedy. I expect him to vote for Hegseth, and I expect him to vote for Gabbard based on his public comments already.
Lots of people and issues to watch in 2025. All right, Bill McCoshen, when we come back, everybody's favorite segment, the grab bag on WTMJ.
If you missed this.
How was your time at the Vietnam Wall?
Very touching. I know 11 people on that wall. We had a chance to look up some of them on there. It was very, very moving experience for me. I held it together, though. I could feel the floodgates start to open a couple of times.
Or this.
President and CEO of Special Olympics Wisconsin, Chad Hirschner, joins us live in studio.
This is a place where they belong, they feel comfortable, they make friends, they learn to become leaders.
Check out Wisconsin's Afternoon News, the podcast.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
Well, all right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back on WTMJ, the Political Power Hour. Bill McCoshen, what is your grab bag? This is your final grab bag of 2024.
It is. My grab bag is for if you get approached by someone who asks you to sign nomination papers, sign them. It doesn't matter. You're not committing to vote for that person. We need more people running for public office, not less. So if you get asked by someone to sign their nomination papers, please take an extra minute and do it.
Can you sign nomination papers for two candidates running for the same position?
You cannot.
Okay.
And they have to be in your district. So anyone can sign a statewide candidate's nomination papers, but if it's for the local school board, you obviously have to be either in their district, or if they're at large, you can be in the community that they reside in. But if someone stops you at the mall when you're returning gifts and says, hey, you got a minute to sign nomination papers, please do it. The more candidates we have, the better. You can sort out over the next 65 days whether that's the one you'll vote for or not. It doesn't bind you to anything. It just gives us more options.
More options is always better. All right, Bill McCoshen, thank you so much. And Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you. All right, stick around. The Upswing with Jeff Sherman is next. It's 9:58 on WTMJ.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information